we live? Are we live? Oh wow. Okay. Well, hi everybody. I'm back. Happy New Year's. And we're back again with another interview, and we are gonna finish off with Set It Off, but I saved the best for last, and I have JT that's gonna be joining me tonight.
Hi,
Hi JT, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, love?
I'm doing fine. I'm hanging in there.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it.
Right. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Fresh off of work, but still active and present, child.
Okay, I hear that.
hmm
How was work?
It was pretty good. Same old day. Trying to keep up with the 9 to 5 to fuel the other dreams and endeavors. So it was just a
Aren't we
regular old
all?
day. Right.
Same.
Regular old day.
I got the same bliss text. I got like
Yes.
three.
Yeah. Listen, always got to have a Blistex, Carmex, or a lip gloss.
I got three. I got one in my room, one in my car, and one, I don't know. I put them on my car. I
As
got
you
a work
should.
one, a going out one, and then I got one for in the house.
As you should, because they're so easy to get lost. I'm telling you,
Are they? And then you end up finding it days later if you bought another one. I'm like,
it's so unfortunate.
I hate that sometimes. I'm not even gonna hold you. I really do.
Right.
But are you ready to be my next victim? Because I've been
Of
waiting for you.
course. Yes, I'm excited.
I'm great. So, why don't you tell us about yourself? Who's JT?
Okay. JT is a 28-year-old individual. I'll actually be 29 in the next couple of weeks. I'm an Aquarius.
Okay.
I'm from Lake City, South Carolina. It's a small town in South Carolina. Uh, what else is there? I'm just a bubbly individual. As far as business is concerned, I'm a creative director. Um, I do a multitude of things in creative direction. So as far as like music videos, photo shoots, and then overall, like, and it comes down to being a creative in general. If you need assistance in making your imagery what you want it to be. Some people have the idea but don't know how to properly, manifest that idea. And so I come in, to help people put their ideas together and bring it to light. I'm also a producer. I'm kind of a baby producer, I call myself, considering that I'm still new to the game. I'm coming in with a couple projects that I'm currently working on, which will be dropping throughout 2023. So yeah, I'm a multitude of things. I'm a multifaceted bitch, So
Multi-talented.
yeah, so there's so many things that I can do and I'm gonna do. So
So producer for reality TV show or producer for music? I mean, it's really kind of not a difference what it is. I just want to know.
starting off, I'm currently doing reality TV. So I'm producing my own reality series, following the FY modeling agency that I work with here in Atlanta. It's going to be kind of following us, our lives, what we do in and outs of our business, and it kind of just give you more like a docu series than a reality show, I would say. But yeah, that's just my starting point. But I hopefully want to get into the space of like scripted work. One of my biggest name people that I want to like follow and manifest a lot of things from is Shonda Rhimes. I love Shonda Rhimes. I love Will Packer, Ryan Murphy. Those are a few of the like producers in the TV game that I really like, emulate a lot of my work from and who I try to like manifest a lot of my ideas from as well. So that's the starting point. But music is my second like nature thing. I actually want to get into music soon.
Okay. Now, Rhonda Rhimes, that's the one that did Scandal, right?
Yeah, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, Grey's
Oh, I
Anatomy.
love, let me tell you something. Scandal in high school for me, every
Listen,
Thursday, my ass was at home waiting for 8 o'clock to come with
yes.
Wendy's every week. Like,
Okay.
I got
Thursdays
my
was like a
life.
holiday.
Yes.
Yes, I used to love How
Wait,
to Get Away with Murder.
who's your favorite from Scandal?
Oh, so I had like this love hate relationship with Quinn. Like I used to love Quinn, but then she used to do the dumbest things that'll just be like, "Come on, girl! Like you're ruining the whole thing right now." But Quinn was always like a love hate relationship for me. And then of course everyone loves Olivia. Olivia is just that girl.
You know, one of my favorites was Cyrus.
I like Cyrus.
Cyrus had me crying. Like, you know those characters that aren't intentionally trying to be funny, but are just funny, and when
Yeah,
especially when they get upset, but you could take them seriously, but it's like, yo, like he was one of my favorites. He was badass, low key.
yeah, I love
He
Cyrus
didn't
too.
care.
Yeah, they were the best. I used to love me some Scandal. I miss that time era of television. It's just so different.
Yeah, now all we got is Zeus, and now that's TV and whatever's left on MTV or whatever Paramount wants to show us.
Absolutely, which is nothing good and nothing interesting to keep me wanting to continue to watch, to be honest with you. It's a lot of ignorant television going on.
I mean, well, Baddies West is top tier right now.
Oh, listen, and I'm going to hold you. I love Baddies. I think it's a great show. It just, brings me back to the old days of Bad Girls Club. But, it's a little oversaturated with all the ignorance that spews off of Zeus that is kind of like, eh, you know,
Yeah, well, that's what keeps the lights on over there, unfortunately.
absolutely.
But we're to blame because we feed into it. But
Absolutely.
speaking of shows, now I was introduced to you on a panel, and it was what was the name of the panel again?
The Queen's Corner?
The Queen's Corner, and Dee, God rest her soul,
Yes.
who is no longer here with us. She hosted it, and that's where I remember you from. And
Okay.
then I remember you going on Set It Off after
hmm
that. So how was your time like on the panel? How did you even get on the panel? Like, did they just call you? Did you audition?
So how it really happened was, it kind of Set It Off kind of came first. I moved to Atlanta January 3rd of last year. I had the opportunity where one of the producer over Set It Off reached out to me, wanted to do like a little casting call, like interview XYZ. We did that. He was interested in me being part of the show. So I was like, okay, cool. So fast forward when we get to the end of filming, I was trying to, connect with some brands and stuff because, like I said, I'm manifesting and working on my own project. So I wanted to connect with some bloggers and brands who could assist in promotion and XYZ. So I reached out to TTB, which in case D is actually was a opening for me to talk to D first because we have a lot of mutual friends. And so me and her chopped it up a little bit. We were discussing some things in reference to the channel promoting my upcoming shows and stuff like that. And then she came back to me maybe like a week later, after I had popped up on one of the lives on TTB one time, and she was just like, "I just really like how you take, you carry yourself, how you talk, and I really would love for you to be involved with the Queen's Corner." And of course, I didn't really know 100% what it was going to be like, but I was like, I'm trying to throw my name out there, get to know people. So the best way to like make things happen is to quote unquote take risks. So I was like, you know what, this is something a little different. Let's try it out. And so we got into the mix and I enjoyed it. It was fun, like, be able to give your perspective on stuff, have these conversations, and have a bunch of people who can bounce off of each other regardless of if we agree or not. Like I think that was the enjoyable part about it. But yeah, it was just kind of like a out of nowhere thing. It wasn't like I was intentionally trying to be on it because I didn't even know that she was trying to do that. But she liked my energy and she thought that it would be great if I was involved in the project, and here I was. And I'm very appreciative to Dee, and I appreciate, just getting to know her as a person. So, rest in peace to her. She was a great woman. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and I just appreciated that she created a platform for people like myself and the other girls on the panel to come together and have real conversations.
Right. Because I definitely liked you guys' panel, and I like the King's Council too.
hmm
Now I remember with your panel, it was a couple stuff that went on there, some foolishness over opinions and stuff. And I'm
hmm
just like, are we really sitting here arguing over opinions and who feels some type of way about what? Ain't
Right.
that what the panel is for? Like, they're all there to give their opinions, whether or not we agree with them. Now,
I'm telling you.
opinions can be bitches. I'm not even gonna hold you, but at the same time, it's like when you are given a platform to speak or ask your opinion, you give your opinion, whether you don't want to or whether you want to. Sometimes you don't even have to.
Yeah.
So, and I've been in your shoes where I've gave my opinion, whether I was right or wrong, and I've like got some of the heat for that, but I've threw the heat back. So I definitely know what it's like to be in your shoes for reviews and stuff. But you guys never really like dragged anybody. You guys kind of said it how it was, and a lot of people don't like that because in this realm, especially in this little realm that we're in, this web realm, people have their picks and chooses.
Right.
They want so it's like it's just I get it. So I liked you guys' panel. I don't know what's gonna happen moving forward with that. Um, I don't know. I'll just say it like that.
Mhm.
Um, but I enjoyed you and some of the girls on there. Now, moving forward to Set It Off, how did you get on there?
Honestly, what's so funny about it was I initially didn't really have the intention on being on the show. So when it came down to it, they posted on social media that they were doing the casting call if you wanted to be involved in the project or anything involving pop up productions. You kind of just reach out. Can you see me? Okay. You kind of
Hmm.
just reach out and talk to them. Put your information in XYZ. So I actually put my information in, and although was an opportunity to like either do the show, my main focus was just to be involved with pop up productions. Period, because I actually wanted to assist in the production aspect of things. Just creating all kind of stuff like past Set It Off. I wanted to help create other content for the platform. And so I actually applied for like production assistant or some type of portion of production. And then when he reached out to me, he went through like the whole, interview process, asking me questions about if I was a part of the show, what would I bring to the table, da 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 da. And I was, answering the questions as he asked them, but then I also kept throwing that extra part where it was like, I'm just down for whatever. Like, I'm good if I'm on the cast, that's cool. If I'm not on the cast, that's cool as well. Like, I just kind of wanted to be involved because I saw potential in pop up productions. I felt like they have the ability to really make something different because we have so many platforms now that comes with so many different things. But I felt like them in particular had something special. So I was like, maybe I can help, put something together. I'm not like the best thing since sliced bread or anything, but I do have ideas that I felt like they would value. And I wanted to somehow, incorporate my ideas with the production. But even then, they decided that I should be a part of the cast, which in case I wasn't going to say no to. Um, and here we are. Like, and even though I'm a part of the cast, I'm still trying my best to like help put things together for the show, for the platform. So the everything can grow and build and be amazing. I think that's really my always been my objective, regardless of being on this show or not. But yeah, that's really how I got on there, and the rest is history.
Okay. So you're actually, if I'm not mistaken, the first lady of Set It Off ATL.
Mm-hmm.
Now you weren't on the last first season.
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, you're the first lady of this. You're the first lady on this season. Okay.
Yeah, it's cute.
That's actually something because Dee was the first lady of TTB, but now look at you. You're the first lady of Set It Off ATL.
And that's it. She
Look
walks
at
so I
that.
can run.
Right. Go on. I didn't know that.
Hmm.
So the first episode was with the guys. You weren't really involved. You were doing your own thing. We weren't introduced yet until probably the second episode. And you were involved in the first impressions game. Now, how was that for you?
It was interesting. Luckily, I think did Chauncey say it in the episode, but luckily they actually left my name out by mistake, so they didn't get to pull my name when they were going down the list of people. And I said it in my confessionals, and I'll say it again. I'm actually very glad that it didn't happen because I really didn't want them to put a bad taste in my mouth so soon. I really wanted to see how things went. And luckily, I was able to play the observer and watch how, everybody pulled their names and gave their little 2 cents. And looking back at it now, it really set the tone for how the group ended up being throughout this season. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just glad it didn't bring me into that particular instance because apparently the first impression game lasted the entire season. Little did we know. So yeah, it was weird. I felt like honestly, considering that we have such a mixture of ages amongst our group. I felt it was a little immature, to be honest with you. I feel like those that's one of those games that you want to do with a bunch of bitches at your slumber party, or you just bringing a bunch of random friends and y'all getting drunk. Like this isn't something for more sophisticated individuals to like really get to know each other. I felt like that was just their way of kind of like trying to drop little mess darts out into the atmosphere because even fast forward throughout the season there was this constant, oh, what do you think about this person, what do you think about this person when you first met them? And it's kind of like, are y'all trying to get something out of people to get them to say something? Like it kind of was just starting to come off that way because it was so repetitive. But overall it was just kind of one of those things where it was like, okay, I'll see how y'all where this is going.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
I don't know, because I'm just like, I don't really care about the aging stuff. I mean, I can't put a restriction on the age of who gets to go on what show. Um, but that impression game was interesting, I would say.
Absolutely.
It was interesting. So the next scene that I seen you in, by the way, you have a lovely house.
Thank you.
And you were sitting down with Rodney and you were talking with Rodney about like, basically your morals and basically just telling him more about who JT is, where you set the boundaries and all that. So when you were having this conversation, first what made you want to have this conversation with him and what was going through your mind?
I wanted to have that conversation with him mainly because it was so many people saying how they didn't like him. There was this issue with him. They thought he was fake. It was this constant conversation. And by the time I had that scene with him, I was around the group maybe twice so far. So, and in those two situations, they kept having the same conversation about him, but he wasn't around like that. So I was like, I want to know what's happening here. I want to know what's going on. So I felt like me, having this personal conversation, I can talk to him, open up to him about who I am as an individual, and also play devil's advocate a little bit, where it's like, okay, you're saying that you don't understand why these people do not like you is slick a problem for me because what we fail to realize is that we contribute sometimes to how people perceive us. Sometimes we don't, but in other cases, sometimes we do. And then if you are oblivious to it, then I'm gonna start to think that slightly you're the problem if you're just completely unaware of how your actions or your words could have affected somebody else and how they treat you. So I felt like I wanted him to be like, okay, let's sit down, let's talk about what the tea is. What is your disconnect with some of these people as far as your perspective is concerned? And let's see how we can like really figure this out. I'm not necessarily trying to make people friends or mediate the situations, but what I wanted to do was mainly kind of like help him figure out and understand how you're going to deal with these people moving forward and even how you deal with anyone else moving forward. Because, like I said, it's very important to not be so oblivious and unaware to how you act and how you react, how you treat people. Like, those things are very important considering that they contribute to the relationships that you build with people. And so, I just really wanted him to like take that moment and you know, maybe we can figure it out together, because I'm coming into the situation with very clear vision. I don't know none of these people. I don't have any loyalty to any of these people. So I was like, maybe I can be that person to help him figure some things out. Even though it did get a little, skewed and missed a little bit because of my friend popping up, but my intentions
Tell
was the
us.
same. Yes,
I'm actually was gonna get into that. So basically, you wanted to have your own perception of who Rodney is instead of taking other people's opinions. That's
absolutely.
actually the best way to go about it. You're the only one that I've known that's done that but not the only one, but so far in a while to actually like let me get to know this person for this person. So some people found it to be a little messy, but if you everybody has a preconceived, so it's like it's not, to me, it's not really messy, but it's just like I get where she's what she's doing.
Hmm.
Like if you really have to have a sense and look through the forest, you would see what she's trying to do.
Yeah.
So that whole conversation that you had with him is intervened with telling, and
Yeah.
then you sit them down, and then they're having a back and forth
Hmm.
about what he said and this and the third. So what was going through your mind about when that was going on? What was the whole aspect of what you were trying to do for them to have a conversation?
I automatically knew it was being derailed. Only because Teller is one of my best friends. So when it came down to it, at that time, we just not too long ago met. So Teller amongst everybody in the group was very new to me. Like I didn't know too much of anyone. Me and Teller had met prior to our first scene at the pop up shop in the first episode. We had met like in passing, but we never were friends until the show started. And so I instantly knew when he got there it was going to derail a little bit because he doesn't back down about his opinion, and as I've started to notice with Rodney, he doesn't back down either. And so I was like, okay, this is about to go left. So I was like, it is what it is at this point. Like, it is what it is. On the other end of the spectrum, though, I was like, this will probably be a good scene because the intent of, having that conversation, I was having that conversation with Rodney. But then when it came down to Tell It, which in case everybody's calling me the setup queen because of Tell It popping up, it was not a plan. What happened was I planned my scene with Rodney weeks in advance. And when the night came, this was maybe like 30 minutes to an hour prior to Rodney even coming. Tellett called me and was like, "Oh, I want to go out. Let's go out. Da, da, da. I'm gonna come pick you up." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, but I gotta
What a
film this."
convenience!
Yeah,
Like,
it really was. It really was because I was like, "Yeah, I just gotta film this scene with Rodney or whatever." And he was just like, "Oh, you filming tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "Okay, that's cute, whatever." And I'm like, "Okay, well, you know what? Since you already gonna be on the way, go ahead and stop by, And that was really how it went. To me, a setup is a little different, but that's how it really went. And so, long story short, when he got there and they started going through their back and forth, even though both of them had valid points, it just unfortunately wasn't connecting the way that we wanted to.
or they didn't want to
Um,
hear each other. That
it,
happens in arguments too. I don't
that's
want to hear
definitely the
you.
case. Yes. And so I just kind of, even though people didn't get to see it, I did get to like calm it down, express to both of them what the other was trying to say. And we actually left that space very cool. Like everybody was copacetic, everything was fine. Like
Limbs were
tell
attached.
no, yes, nobody was torn up, no blood was spilled.
The
Like it was
house wasn't
great.
messed up.
Exactly. So
You ain't
that's
had
the
to
plus
smack
side.
nobody for it. You ain't get evicted the next
Absolutely.
day.
Absolutely. So
you know,
everything was great.
you know what's funny though? I feel like with Tele popping out, and I've never been in your shoes, JT. I've never been on TV before. I've been around production, but why do I feel like somebody had probably snitched?
You talking about what tell it coming?
Yeah, like she doing the scene with so and so tonight. Oh, let me just call JT. I don't know. It just seems like he kind of knew, but you know how when people, nowadays people just be popping up like, oh, I didn't know this person came, but in reality, somebody on production or somebody that was a friend of production was like, oh yeah, I don't know, that's just, and two, they go back and forth, and all I remember you were just sitting there like this.
Yeah. Because it was coming too much. And see, I'm the person, I don't like to like raise my voice too much when it come down to a disagreement. So it's like if they're doing all this yelling and raising, I'm gonna just let them get it out. When I find this opening, I'll slide in. We'll figure it out after that. But
It was a face for me. I'm just like, now I don't know if I'm like, I don't know. She's sitting there thinking like, now the producer in me, this is kind of good for my resume. So it's
yeah.
like, y'all get this? Like, I'm like, you know what?
Yes, it definitely gave very much self-produced because just to clarify, the producers did not know I invited him to the house. Nobody knew. It just literally happened. How things ended up escalating was very unexpected. I kind of already was aware that, there was a slight disconnect between them. There never was an issue between them. They never were friends. They never were enemies. But it's same as everybody else. You know, Tell It had a perception of Rodney because Rodney had a kind of a weird tone about him when it came down to dealing with people. He kind of just came off as very superior, um, and just came off as like he really just felt like people was unworthy to him. So that particular instance where they got into it, it was only because Teller just felt like he was trying to one up Black in the midst of an argument that didn't even have to happen between them in our group message. Which, by the way, our group message is kind of like a is a cast member in itself because a lot of the stuff that happened amongst our season was in our group message and it ended up resonating onto the
That's
camera
that shit that
sometimes.
now that TV does that with they cast members for every show that they doing. That's why they always fighting on there.
Uh-huh. It's really like that. Like
They
the
know what they be doing.
hmm
You put me in a group chat, I'm taking myself out. I will see y'all at the house.
Listen,
I'm
trust
not
me.
listen. They like, oh, friend, you need to go on TV. And I'm like, nope. Y'all can
Yes.
keep that. I will wait. I don't got time for it. I'm 24. I feel like I'm 42. I'm getting old. I don't put the gloves up, but the key is not locked. Okay.
Right.
If I have to, it's going down. Cause I can't. Y'all are my lesson learned. I watch y'all.
Yeah.
I take notes. I'm like, okay. I think I
Mm.
got the hang of it now, but this ain't about me.
Yeah.
But another thing I want to ask, and this is so off topic. Your friend is cute.
Which one?
Tell it.
Oh yes, my friend adorable.
His friend, his face just like sucks me in. So I'm just
Yes.
like, I don't know if he's single, but I ain't even gonna go there.
Yeah.
But you can pass the message on though.
Listen, I definitely will pass the message on. I definitely will. But yes,
Anyway,
my bitch is a
thank
glam.
you. I know. Anyway, so the lingerie night,
Yes.
you were there, and I've already asked three of your other castmates, and they already said how they felt about that.
hmm
So, did you have a good time overall?
Um, no. I actually didn't want to go, if I really want to be honest about it.
Why?
Cause just to clarify, and I'm gonna bring up something that another blogger actually did, which in case is unfortunate that you can tell the difference when people actually watch the show and when people are just trying to find things to have an issue with. So there was the night of the dominatrix party actually happened the day after me and Antonio got into it at Delon's house, where I popped up at Delon's house with Tell It. They invited me over because me and Antonio had some conflicts where he went back and told some information that I said about Shantika. That wasn't really even for information, it was just my little metaphor or whatever, and he tried to create an issue with that. And of course, with a lot of the girls in this show, they want to create a scene, with somebody I guess they felt like they can just be combative with. So him doing that, he decided to make a scene with Delon, invite me over. We end up getting into it, which was, obviously on the show. Um, that actually happened. The dominatrix party was that next day. And that next day, I had a photo shoot to do right before the dominatrix party, hence the reason why I didn't get dressed. Now, what's interesting about that photo shoot was they used the work scene of my photo shoot in like 2 to 3 episodes prior to the episode with the dominatrix party. So it came off as if like, oh, I just went to these two separate situations in the same outfit. Like it was like, oh, these are 2 separate days. But in actuality, it was the same exact day. They just decided to put my work scene and the dominatrix party in 2 separate episodes. So I didn't want to go to the dominatrix party because I was tired. Like I work throughout the week. On weekends, I still work because if it's not a photo shoot, it's a filming. If it's not a filming, it's a hosting. If it's not a hosting, then I'm going to an event. So I'm always doing something. And so when it came down to that, Delon, who was the host of the Dominatrix party, me and him were friends at the time. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to miss this because me and him are building a relationship. So I was like, let me just go ahead and go. But my mind was not in a good space because I still didn't want to deal with Antonio, which in case I wish they catch some of the extra pieces, maybe they'll do like a deleted scene or something. But I was actually one of the first people to come to the dominatrix party, and Antonio was already there, and we actually had a moment where I was shading him down. Like, I just kept throwing him stuff for no reason. Like, it was just because you already pissed me off. You already on my bad side. So now every time that I see you, I'm going to sting you. You know, I don't have to hurt your feelings, but I'm going to definitely let you know that we still have a problem. So yeah, I really wish that I didn't go, because then it ended up, as y'all saw, it ended up being about technically me, because everybody started arguing because of what Antonio did as far as sending Shantika the info about what I said. And everybody, Black Buzz Clown, who were arguing with him, was talking about, why are you running back telling stuff that wasn't even on camera. And
That
so
was
it
a whole
just,
sit down. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you off. That
you're
was
fine.
when y'all was in the circle and that whole argument happened.
Yeah,
I
that was
forgot you
really where
got
it came
into
from.
it. I skipped some things. I forgot you got into it with what's the name about that.
Yeah, and it was really unnecessary, because I, it was off camera, by the way, just to give backstory on that. It was very off camera. One of the producers had like a gathering at his house. We were all having fun, drinking, having a good time. And like I said before about the first impressions game kind of lasted throughout the season, that happened again where we was at the party and somebody was asking, how do you feel about this person? How do you feel about this person? My natural response is literally my first thought, which in case is, if I hear a constant story arc of this person is talking about her issues or what she's gone through, or something that is a little more dark, in a case when you really trying to get to know people, is kind of more of a surface thing. um but it was a little dark, and I just felt like, it was just kind of was diluting the what could be of the group. Like, I felt like we were all amazing elements. We all have brought something different to the table, and then there she goes with this dark energy. Like, not necessarily she's a dark person or evil person, but the conversation is dark, and it can change the mood of a room. So I just felt like her constant bringing this up and people constantly telling me that this is how she is, I give my response. And instead of Antonio just keeping it a buck with me, which I told him then, like, you could easily just check me and we could have moved forward. If you didn't want me to have an opinion about your friend, which in case I thought we were friends too, you have an issue with my opinion, check me, and then we can go about our business. But you going back to her made it bigger than what it was, because a lot of our behind the scenes stuff, it actually got worse. It was like this whole unnecessary back and forth between me and her, and then of course between me and him. It was just a mess, child. It was a
It's like
mess.
cat chase mouse,
Absolutely,
basically. A
absolutely, and
telephone game.
yeah, and it was all over a simple metaphor. Like, I could have understood if I like killed her cat, slapped her dog, if I was talking junk about her kids, or I slept with her man. It could have been
I got a
anything
cat.
else. It could have been anything else. But the fact that I had a simple metaphor and you choose to make this a storyline for yourself, it just was interesting for me.
I just kid. That's just funny. Oh, so I want to switch gears a little bit before I go back. I want to talk about a scene that you had because a lot of you guys had this scene, and it was in this episode called Resolution. Now that episode was just like, whoa, I did not know,
Hmm.
and everybody's story had touched me. Like I could relate with majority of everybody. Unfortunately, if you catch where I'm going with this,
Yes.
some of the stories that y'all have said I've relate to in my life. So first, I want to say, and I wish I could say this to the whole cast, but thank y'all for opening up to us because y'all do this for free. Y'all
Yeah.
not getting paid. And let me tell you, I've been bitching. These people need to start getting paid, whether it's $50 a week or 5 cents, because the fact that y'all put yourselves out there for people to judge you, for people to mishandle what you're saying and twist it and run with it, for people to just look at that and then try to play y'all in person or like, so it's like nobody twist y'all arm to say that, but it's
Yeah.
just like like y'all don't have to do that. Y'all gave transparency this season. Now I didn't see the last season, so
Hmm.
I'm new to Set It Off ATL. So thank you and to the other cast members for opening up to us. And, you know, we care for y'all. I mean, I can't speak for everybody else, but I care for majority of y'all. And I understand where each and every one of y'all have came from.
Thank you.
You recently opened up about, your personal life from moving from where you came from to Atlanta and how it was hard and you were homeless and all that, and then you got emotional. Um, how did you? Well, obviously you were emotional, but like, what made you wanted to open up about that?
Um, one of the reasons is because I pride myself in being transparent. You know, like as I told you when we first started this, like you can ask me anything because I've grown into a space in my 28 years of life where I feel like my story has a purpose, my pain has purpose. And in order for it to have a purpose, I have to put it into the forefront and let people know what it is. Because there could be somebody who's have experienced the same things that I've experienced, or just want to feel like, dang, I'm not the only one. I don't really feel like my story per se can heal a person, but I do feel like people don't like to feel alone. And if they know that somebody else can resonate with what they've gone through and experienced, then I feel like can help them in that whole run. As far as me is concerned, like I said, because I'm so transparent, I don't care if it was a free show or if I was getting paid $1 million a season. I would have been honest about what I was experiencing and going through. I signed up for a show to showcase my life, my business, and everything in between. And although I have the right to be selective in what I post and what I put out there on the show, I also have the right to be okay with my perspective and my perception, and as well as how people perceive me. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I really just wanted to have that conversation. And that particular day, it was just a lot for me, dealing with the disconnect of the group, in the cast, because majority of the cast I actually don't associate with at all. Um, Losing a couple family members within a 2 year time frame that were very close to me.
I remember you
Um,
said that.
yeah, not to mention dealing with moving down there by myself because I'm a very big family oriented individual. So being away from my family, being in a whole other state aside from my family is actually very different for me. And so it kind of was like taking a toll. And then finally, I battle with anxiety and depression. So with that comes, those high and low days where you really just have no control. It just things kind of just weigh on you and just drops on you. And that particular day, it was so many things happened, so many elements at once. Oh, and then finally, like the situation with a former friend who actually invited me to move down here because I'm very big about stability. So I didn't want to move into this space without knowing that I have somewhere to lay my head. I had a job to work. I had things that I can
Right.
really handle
Absolutely.
my business. And so I found a job. Set It Off called me the same day I was hired for my new job. I was like,
Look at
okay,
that.
this is God working. You know what I'm saying? So I moved down here. My friend was like, yeah, you could definitely come down here, stay with me. Woo, woo, woo. 2 months in, things just instantly flipped. He basically just kind of just pulled the rug from under me, you know what I'm saying? And I just was kind of out here looking crazy where it was like, okay, you know that I moved down here trying to build my life. You the one who invited me to come and stay here and you decided to just uproot me without any kind of like heads up or anything like that. And I was just like, this is crazy. Like, but
Like you
I
came
just
down there. I'm
mhm.
sorry. You came down there and like with your luggage and stuff, and it was like that situation where you called and he didn't answer the phone. So it was like, where am I gonna go? Or was it like you were already there and you left the house the next day for whatever and came back and you got locked
Yes.
out or some stuff like that?
Yes, I was already there. Like I was 2 months
Oh,
down there. I was already working. We already started filming, set it off. Like not long after that scene with Rodney and Tell It and everything, that was after not long after that where I ended up going into the situation that I was in, and I ended up not being able to stay there. Without going into much detail in the story, long story short, he had some issues with the leasing office, and instead of being honest about it with me, he decided to fabricate this whole story about what was happening. And I'm just not a person where I'm not going to be combative over a situation I have no control over. So when he's expressed to me what was going on, I said, you know what? Cool. You know, it is what it is. And luckily, I had another good friend of mine we actually went to college together, who lived down here. He was kind of like my in between time until I found my space that I live now, which in case me and Taylor are roommates now. It was kind of like it was a journey in itself where I already knew I was coming into Atlanta to make things happen for myself. But little did I know I had to deal with other things in between there to kind of like figure things out. But yeah, like it was a lot. It was really a lot to like adjust to these new personalities, this new space, and investing in myself as far as like what I wanted out of life and my business. Um, and I just didn't think I would have had to experience some of the things that I experienced so soon, you know. And I honestly didn't even think that this would have been a part of my story. I never thought that I was homeless for X amount of time like would be a part of my conversation piece when it came down to explaining who I was and what I've been dealing with in my life. Like it was a surprise to me too, but I'm appreciative of it all at the same time. Only because, like I said before, there's somebody else who's dealt with this. I'm pretty sure there's a plethora of people who have been in these situations, and they just needed somebody to relate to them. And that was the whole purpose of me being honest about what I was experiencing, what I was going through. Um, Unfortunately, the group that we are in, they have a tendency to use things against you. So you may see it within the show where somebody actually uses my situation at that time against me. But you know, it is what it is. It's par for the course.
I'm not. Wait, someone uses that against you later on.
Yes, they do. Yeah, it gets a little dark. The
I
season
hope it
gets a
ain't.
little dark.
I hope it ain't like. I hope it ain't the person I'm thinking. And I ain't talking about Rodney. I hope
Who
it's
you
not
thinking?
that person that's been throwing shots at certain people and his own personal friends.
Who?
I don't know if you know who I'm talking about, but I ain't gonna say that person's name.
I don't know. I mean, I have some ideas.
I hope it ain't because if it's him, Lord. Uh, Anyways, you, I feel like when people do stuff like that, see, this is the thing. You're not the only one that I've heard this story about. Like, I moved to Atlanta and something happened. I've heard some cast members from Jason that have been through that. It seems like a lot of people that try to relocate to different cities, the bigger cities like LA, Miami, whatever,
Hmm.
it's always something.
Yeah.
However, even though it's not right, it always ends up working in you guys' favor in the long run because look at where you guys are at now. Look at where you are now. You got a nice apartment, a roof over your head,
Yeah.
and all that. So it's like, but I just hate, and I understand, like, especially when you're in the industry, you go through sacrifices, you go through hardships, and you go through like, your sacrifices. So it's like that I feel like when people go through that, that's part of the story to see, even though it's not right, can you handle it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it don't, but in the end, it works out in everybody's favor. Thank God it did, because
Yes. Absolutely.
sometimes luck plays a big factor in that.
Absolutely. And it was nothing but God. I'm a God fearing
Right.
individual. Like I don't pray as much as I need to, but I do know that He exists, and I do know that half the things that I've experienced in my life I would not have gone through, and would not have been able to really like get past if I didn't have God in the back of my mind and in my spirit. Like I honestly can say that.
And I know I didn't just hear that correctly. You said Tella is your roommate,
Yes.
and I just said everything that I just said. Okay. Anyway, um, so what's next for JT?
What's next for me? Oh my goodness. I'm just trying to be the next thing since sliced bread, the next best thing. Like, I'm trying to be everything and more. I'm trying to do everything. one thing I am very appreciative and I was blessed with is the gift of gab. I'm a very charismatic individual, and I've actually been able to create real relationships with amazing people, both in the web world and outside of the web world. So with that comes so many projects. So again, I'm producing Stylish, which is my show following the FY Model Agency. It'll be showing on the OMS TV network platform going into
KL's
March.
channel.
Yes, it will be showing on March, which will be an amazing new thing, fresh perspectives. Everybody has their own, idea of what OMS TV is, as well as who KL is. But I will personally say, in my standpoint, he's been a great person to me. We've, of course, with any relationship, you have growing pains, but there's a level of respect there where he respects, my ideas, the things that I do, my skill sets, and the same thing goes with him. I respect everything that he says and does, and therefore we've created a real good relationship. I've known him going a little over a year now, um, and so Stylish is on the way. It's going to be a great new take on TV shows. It's going to be a little different from typical web shows, considering that me and Tell It are the and Akari, which is are my cast members on my show. We are the only LGBTQ based people on the show. Everybody else is cisgendered, men and women. So it kind of just I wanted to show something different where you can see this is real life. Even though the web series shows and the web series world for us is to give the perspective of the LGBTQ, showcase what we do, that we are also here on this world too. And I'm very appreciative of these platforms doing that for all of us. However, I feel like we need more platforms where you see what real life looks like. Like, because honestly, in real life, I don't have a lot of gay friends. A majority of my friends are either females or straight men. And that's just where I've always been. It's not because I chose that, it's really just because of my upbringing, where I'm from, a small town. Counting myself, you may know maybe 4 or 5 gay people in the entire town. Everybody else is like whatever they want to call themselves.
You
Um,
got some that are, you
yeah,
know,
if you want to be straight, I'm gonna let you be straight, honey. But it's having that type of upbringing presents the type of people that I surround myself with, and I wanted to like emulate that onto my projects, where you kind of just see a wide variety of people: gay, straight, black, white, purple. It's just a nice mixture of people because that's what life looks like. Like we're not all segregated. Not all gay people hang with all gay people. Not all straight people hang with all straight people. Like we mix, we evolve and grow with each other. Like we don't always have to be separate. So, they're stylish. I also have a project that is in pre-production called The Camp, where it's going to be kind of like a competition show. It's kind of Big Brother meets America's Next Top Model. Um, they live together, a bunch of models live together, do some competitions, practice, evolve as models. It's about, helping them grow as individuals and as models in the fashion industry. And like I said, I wanted to do something different. We got a bunch of shows where the girls are acting like they on Love and Hip Hop or Real Housewives, but we need something
or
that can
Bad Girls
actually,
Club.
or Bad Girls
But
Club. So
ain't none
we
of them busting a grape that quick. So
none of them are busting a grape that quick. So I wanted something different, and why keep making something that's not really benefiting people? Like I wanted to start doing things that actually are developing people and helping them grow and manifest in their businesses, and the camp is for that. I'm currently doing a fashion talk show that I'm also producing called Off the Runway on YouTube, which is hosted by my friend Fro, following fashion, him discussing the latest looks and trends, as well as giving his critiques on different award shows, different events within the industry. So it's that I have like maybe 3 other projects I'm trying to do by the end of the year. But overall, is I'm just trying to make a name for myself, create a space where people realize that this boundary that has been set amongst different classes of people can be removed, and we can all just coexist in the same fashion. We can all work together, we can all build relationships without there being these preconceived ideas of who people are. So that's really who I am, and that's what I'm trying to present to the world is there is so much more than the surface of people. Like, whether you're gay, straight, or indifferent, you there's so much more to you, and there's so much more room for all of us to start creating these real relationships and start manifesting what life really is, instead of just staying in these boxes and just living like how life wants us to live. Because unfortunately there is a status quo in the world for certain things and certain people, and I just don't live that way. I have no reason to live that way. And I just want to project that same narrative to the world. Like, you don't have to live with how the world wants you to. So that's what I'm doing. Some everything.
You got a lot. That's a lot. I ain't some. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Now, as we getting that check, are the checks cleared?
It's coming. So my objective with a lot of this is, of course, I'm working, I'm helping these people manifest things that they want to create, because a lot of the productions that I'm involved with are other people's, things that I brought to them. So, like, the Off the One Way show was an idea that I presented to Fro, where I was like, I think you should do a fashion talk show, maybe give a more informative version of Fashion Police, talk about da 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 da. And he was interested, hence the reason why I'm helping him produce it. So a lot of my objectives isn't necessarily to make money in this moment. It's more or less to not only put my name out there, but to build those relationships with these people and to create the right amount of rapport between us, to the point where if these things do get picked up, or they do end up being monetized and we make money off of it, there'll be no qualms with it. We everybody know and understand where everybody is, their titleship, how they have, contributed to the situations. So with that comes an understanding, and that's the biggest part for me is I like to create real relationships with the people that I work with. So there won't ever be that conflict within the business. We'll have issues, but long as there's an understanding that the business needs to be handled, then we'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the reunion.
Ugh.
That hasn't came up yet, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so who y'all want to have a host? Who y'all want to host?
Honestly, I want somebody who's paying attention to the show.
And
Like,
who you
I,
feel like is?
I feel like you're paying attention to the show. I think you're paying
Okay.
attention because I want people to really get a better perspective than what is in the surface. Like, there's certain things and certain, dialogue that be happening within these conversations that people be missing stuff. And I just be sitting here looking like, okay, I'm gonna remember this. So when the reunion come, I'm gonna bring this up, and I want you to deny it, because then I'll have this reference point to go back to. So I really want a host who really did their research, is doing their research, paying attention, having these little sidebar conversations, because honestly, if you do, because I'll throw your name out there when it come down to the host. If you do become a host, I think the best option for you to do is start having those sidebar conversations with some of the cast, because our casts are filled with a bunch of chatterboxes, and they'll say some things that they probably wouldn't have said initially, and you can use it. So,
That's why this my job. That's why I got y'all up here. And it's more so
exactly.
to me get to know y'all.
Hmm.
Because if you notice, I'm not really those type of interviewers that like do the messy stuff and pick and choose to hold y'all accountable for like you really haven't done anything. Some of y'all, because I've had people from Zeus up here, I've had people from all networks. I haven't really gotten into nobody ass like that, except for like maybe a couple people.
Hmm.
But I never. It's not more so of like, oh, I'm gonna get you, but it's more so like a hey, you kind of messed up on this
Right.
from a viewer perspective, not from my perspective and not from your perspective, but from what the camera's shown. It's just what it is. Because
Right.
everybody, like I said earlier, has these preconceived notions, and people pick and choose what they want to see and what they want to hear. That bothers me and that irks me so much. But when it's
Absolutely.
such and such do it, they call this out. If such and such do that, they call it out. Now, I'm not the type to call everything out because I just don't got time for that. But if I'm asked or if it's necessary to need to be speaked on, if I could have the power to say it in a way where it's not an asshole way,
Yeah.
then I can do that. It's okay, and I've had people I was like, hey, you messed up on this, but it's like it's okay to be like, you know what, I messed up. I said that, but you know what, today I feel different, and I can own that. And how do we change the narrative from that? That's the type of advice I give. I don't sit here and be like, oh well, I think y'all should get up and fight and da 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 da. Now, if y'all do that, that's on your own free will. I'm not. I'm gonna be like, okay.
Right.
Some brawls I feel like I've seen was like, you know what, it was bound to happen, or you had it coming. But I'm just like, anyways.
Yeah.
But I did reach out to them because Black actually told me to because I was just like, no, and I feel like if you pay attention, if you ever go back to watch my interviews I did with them or anybody else, I do these recites and I like reciting all y'all. And it's not it's also like just giving y'all flowers to like make y'all feel good about did I really do that?
Yeah.
So that y'all can remember that so y'all can laugh at it to make something positive out of a negative. Like I
Yeah.
just sat here and did your facial expression. I paid attention to that.
Yeah.
And sometimes people be like, "Oh, you're so invested," but I'm like, "Y'all the same ones that be invested in all these celebrities that never met y'all. Y'all will never ever meet. Like
Absolutely.
making fan pages. If I'm doing this, it's to be a part of my resume so that when I actually see these people in person, at least I'm sitting here talking to y'all. Half these people can't even get a follow back or a like from y'all. So it's like, which is not a big deal to me, but it's like I said, people pick and choose. There's fan pages of certain people and cults, and I think you know which bigger call I'm talking about. I ain't talking about just the beehive,
Yes.
but you know, so it's like I don't mind being a host. If they do find a host, that's cool. But I do. It'll be my first time if they have me up there with somebody to co-host. I don't mind having the training wheels because if I do it by myself, I'm gonna ask the questions, but I'm gonna be sweating bullets because it's not just y'all, it's the viewers. People in the comments. I don't really care for what people say in the comments. But it's just like, I don't mind, but I don't play that favoritism stuff and I'm not
Yeah.
gonna I got some of my favorites, but I don't got a lot of favorites on this show. But I do
Mhm.
know whether or not you're a favorite, you're gonna get asked a question and you're gonna get checked if you catch my
Period.
drift. So it's like,
So, who are your
everybody is holded to the
favorites?
fathers. Everybody's hold to the fire. Huh?
Who are your favorites?
Quan is one of my favorites. Um, I like you. Black is my favorite. Um, Chauncey's like my mid favorite, but I kind of see like me and Chauncey here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, there's so many of y'all though. It's like what 10 of y'all? I lost count. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Waste of space. That's what it is.
Yeah, there's some fillers. I'm just like,
Yeah.
but if I had to pick like my top three favorite, it would be Black, Quan, and I want to say I can't choose between you and Chauncey because y'all been the ones, all y'all besides Rodney and Tony and Antonio have been like shown
Yeah.
the most out of the other cast members. So I mean, I didn't say Teller was my favorite. I think he cute as hell. So he's a cast
Yeah.
member on there. So
Right. And then what's
um,
so interesting is like if you notice when it came down to the second half of the season, actually was it last week episode or the week before that, but they changed the intro. And so the original main cast switched and the only people who stayed the same was Chauncey, Black, and myself. They changed the other people in the main cast. Which in case I felt like some people deserved to be there, others didn't. But you know.
right, and I know it looks like I just got my favorites up here, but I can't get all of y'all. You get what I'm saying? I mean, I got some favorites from the other shows I didn't get to interview or talk to, so I was like, let me just get the main ones that kind of stand out the most,
Yeah.
and then I'll probably go back to the other ones as a special guest or have them in my boys' night in or something like that, because I want to give everybody a chance. But even with the favorites, I could call them out. Like, no, you did say that. Like, I'm not a
Yeah.
biased person. Like,
Yes.
the favorites sometimes. it's hard for other people to do that. But not, I can't say not me because I've never been put in that seat. But you know,
Yeah.
time will tell. If I get picked, then I don't know. But I heard it's going down.
Oh, absolutely. It's absolutely. If they're not going to be talking about Black or Rodney, they're going to be talking about me.
So I
Yeah.
ain't. I was. I didn't say it was gonna be a roasting session or a read down.
Oh, it's going to be a read down. It's going to be, and
I
it's
ain't talking about that. I'm talking about like a. I'm talking about
a
letting the hands
tussle.
do the hands do the throw downs. I ain't talking about no
Yeah.
reading
It's an
because I'm
escalation.
because I'm pretty sure Black was adamant when he was like, "You gonna be mad at me, but it's going down." So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
Him and I
so
just
you know,
actually talked maybe a few days ago, and he just was kind of saying the same thing, where he was just like, his whole objective is to basically lay some hands on a couple people.
he didn't tell me who
And
it was, but I don't even want to know. I'll let me be surprised.
yeah,
If I'm
at
there
this
in person,
point,
I'm like,
right, at this point, the reunion is going to be
yeah,
a brawl in general. Because what's interesting, there's actually a couple people on the cast who wants to fight me. so,
girl, see.
so it's
See,
interesting to
we
say
gonna
the
respect
least.
the ladies. That's what we gonna do is respect the ladies.
Unfortunately,
We
this
not just
cast
gonna
don't
go
feel that
after. I
way.
feel like we go after people because we feel like they the weak. I don't know who it is, but we gonna be the weaker one. If I'm there, ain't none half of that ain't gonna happen. We gonna talk
Hmm.
first, and
Yeah.
whatever y'all want to do, or if it's out of my hands, I'm like, well, I tried.
Right. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but how this cast is set up, there's a huge lack of respect for people um in their life, who they are as individuals. Like, they don't have no respect for me. So whatever happens, happens. Just know
Well,
I'll
I
if
don't condone violence
hmm
sometimes, but I'm gonna say this: everybody come to your space and put their hands on you, girl. You better windmill,
oh, listen,
windmill,
I
or
here's the
Krishan they
thing.
asses.
The person that y'all see today is not the person that I've always been. Let's just start there. So just because I'm very poised, very respectful, and I know how to carry myself, it doesn't mean that I don't know how to get unhinged. But also, I'm in a space in my life where I don't fight my own battles. Like, let's just start there. I have
See,
people
that's
in
gonna
my
make it
life.
even more worse.
Yeah, I have people in my life who don't play about me. So when it comes down to it, like, there's a high possibility I'll have some form of security with me. Not because I need the protection, but because clearly people just think that they can play with me, and I'm just not here for play.
Mm-mm-mm.
It is what it is.
So, so I asked everybody this question.
Hmm.
Speaking of cast members, I've heard that they might do an all star, and considering that you are one or earning your stripes to be one, if they were to do a all star with people from Set It Off on the way up Atlanta, which is another show I fuck with. Chasing Dallas, Atlanta, LA, Bad Boys Club on Gemini Films, The Come Up ATL, New York, Miami, Hot Boys of Houston, LA. Am I forgetting any other show?
Oh, it's so many.
It really is so many. Like,
Yes.
we have all these shows for people to pick on. Oh, G Status, I forgot that.
Hmm.
ATL. If you were chosen to be called to be in the whole spectrum of like 12 different other cast members, would you go to represent your show?
Absolutely. I think that would be so fun. I've gone grown to be acquainted with a lot of the people on the other shows. So like with Chasing Atlanta, I'm good friends with Willa. I've
I
gotten to
love
know
Willow.
I've gotten to know Rico, Oliver, me and Dominique and Troy have met in passing. We kind of interact, and what's so funny is like I've actually built a cute rapport with Dario, which is cute. G Status, I know a few of the girls over there. Tramel is a good friend of mine.
Him too.
Yeah, it's like I've known a lot of these people over the course of my time being here. So with that comes like I think it'll be fun if they chose the right people with personalities, and I think the best way for it to be good is if a lot of these people know each other. So, like I said, I know Willa. So, it'd be great if Willa was involved. I know Tramel. So, Tramel. Um, yeah, like, and I definitely want to meet a lot of the LA girls. Oh, Nicole from LA. Me and her know each other pretty
Oh,
well. Yes.
that damn Nicole.
She's something.
She will go on and on and on and on and on, and she will talk you out to the. I don't think I could argue with Nicole.
Oof.
She got superpowers that will. Let me tell you.
Yeah, she will wear you out with her words. Like she will keep it going. She's gonna let you know how she feels, and I like that for her.
Yeah.
But
See,
yes,
now
I
if it
think
was
that'll be
my
fun.
world, if it was my world, I would have picked maybe 14 of y'all. And y'all already know what number we would go on. We would go on to Zeus. But I wouldn't make y'all fight because y'all already do that on your own. But I feel like I would separate the girls and the boys because I wouldn't want it to get too, you know,
Volatile.
right. Because that's just a recipe for disaster and that's a safety hazard. I will just pick like maybe the boys and then maybe do a girls season over here and I would just keep it just trans. I wouldn't keep it with cis women because you already know how they that. See, I got some consideration. I'm not like these other producers. Either way, somebody gonna get slapped. But I would rather
Absolutely.
put y'all on there to showcase y'all business and like what y'all do. Kind of a little bit like how y'all already doing on y'all own shows, but with a little bit of razzle dazzle.
Yeah.
You know, So that's what I feel like they should be doing. But hopefully they do. But yeah, but that reunion. I don't know when that's coming. It's been a while since I spoke to Black. That was like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So I
Just
did reach.
behind the scenes, T, they just actually sent a message about the reunion yesterday. So we're supposed to film the reunion the end of March.
Oh yeah, they need to call and book me because I could probably make it.
Yes, I'll send in your name too, child.
I'm
I'm
about
make
to reach
sure.
out to them probably after this or probably tomorrow because I'm gonna be like,
Please
listen, I
do.
got all these people. Look back at my videos. I made them laugh. Let's do it.
Absolutely, I'm here for it.
I'm gonna be sweating bullets though. But what's the theme though? Well, I can't.
Um,
I can't tell me that because I'm not even a part of it. At least not yet.
we're doing a cute color. They're trying to do something a little vibrant, so we'll keep the color under wraps for now.
All right, as long as they got a bulletproof color vest for that, I'll be good for that. You laughing? I'm so serious. I'm gonna
All
get my
right.
Tim's custom made,
Okay.
and I'm gonna bring my mask. And I ain't talking about no COVID mask. I'm talking about a ski mask because I'm also a brand ambassador too. So I may just bring some, and pass it out to everybody, whoever wants some. But
Okay. Period.
I should do that.
You
That's a good.
should.
I should do that. I should do that.
You
But
absolutely should.
it has been so great talking to you. I know I say this about everybody, but I really do mean it. It was really great talking to you. I made you laugh. I made you feel good. You made me laugh. We
Yeah.
reminisce like Mary did. So
Okay.
I definitely will be reaching out to you just to check in on you, and all that, and I thank you so much for sitting up here and taking the time out of your busy schedule because you got a lot going on. A lot of y'all got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Um, um, if I don't get picked for the hosting or if I don't go to is there going to be an audience there?
Close up.
Oh God, I don't know. Maybe if I could just probably sneak in, just sit with production and just see if they could take my phone, I'll do.
I
But
was about to say, even if you don't be the host, you can maybe be like the pre-reunion correspondent. There's so many options.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't mind working behind production, getting
Hmm.
my feet wet. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm gonna reach out to them, but if they, cause but I'm gonna follow you because I don't even know why I'm not even following you in the first place. I meant
Yeah.
to from when you was on the panel, but I'm gonna follow you and I'm gonna keep in touch. Where can the people follow you?
Yes, you can follow me at JT for real, full word, for real, FORREAL twice. Um, Everything that you want to know about me is there. You can check my bio to follow my stylish TV show coming out in March. You can follow the show page right now as well to see any updates in reference to the show. But yes, and thank you for having me, by the way. I really do appreciate it. It was fun. And don't be a stranger. You can always hit me up anytime.
I'm gonna hit your friend up too. No, I'm
You
just playing.
should.
I'm not gonna hit. I'm not gonna hit tell it up. I'm done.
Listen, we're gonna talk about this afterwards. So
Ain't he back there?
he's somewhere upstairs.
Oh, upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
What type of apartments they got in Atlanta? Where's
It's a cute
upstairs?
little townhouse, you know.
How much is that? I know that's expensive as hell. But if the price is right, let me know because I'm trying to move down there in like a year or two.
Oh yes, it's not bad.
And I'm so serious.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Like, and I mean, considering that it's me and him, you know, it's not a bad price.
Now there's an apartment that someone I know Cameron lived in.
Hmm.
He don't live in ATL no more. I don't know if you know where he lived at, but it's those places. That's my first option because I actually like those apartments.
I know exactly where you're referencing because he had a party, his going away party. It was actually the day that they filmed the recent reunion for Atlanta. He had a going away party that I went to, and I went to his house. Those are really nice apartments.
Oh, that's
They're really
interesting. He
nice.
had a going away party.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Mm.
Okay. Very fucking. I'm so dead ass serious.
I live.
Mm, but thank you so much, beautiful JT. I will be speaking with
Thank
you very soon, and thank you everybody for tuning in. Quan, good night, and everybody, good night, and
thank
thank you for speaking with me. Good
Yes,
night.
good night. Thank you.
My mom said I need to do something with my hair, otherwise I gotta get it all cut off.
We booked an appointment at Style Kings at the barbershop. Let's go.
Do you want fabulous hair? Are you looking for a product strong enough to